Hey gang, it's JC, and this is your daily dose for Thursday, April Fool's Day. We'll have a little to say about April Fool's Day and some things that happened on the radio in previous years coming up a little bit later on. And by the way, this is just the beginning of what we're doing here at jc'sdailydose.com. And if you want to see some of our archives, like some of the stuff we did from Cardinal Spring Training in Jupiter last week, just click on the little tab that's above my head there in the menu bar that says JC's Daily Dose, and you can pick that up. I'm sitting here in a Bobcat, not because I picked up a construction job, but because we're having a little work done on the house. They're going to chew up our backyard here to the tune of $29,000, so it's a good thing I'm still being paid my full salary from the old station. All right, let's talk about the Vanity Fair piece. And when I started these daily doses, I did not intend for them to be completely consumed by tabloid stuff, but this just won't go away. And now Tiger Woods, and I made the prediction here last week, and if you go to the archive piece from last week in Florida, I predicted that things would get a lot worse for Tiger Woods before they would get better, and it appears that that is the case. The Vanity Fair piece comes out next week here in the Midwest. It's in New York and Los Angeles now, and Mindy Lawton has spilled her guts. This is the Pancake House waitress who now says that Tiger Woods called her up at 5:30 in the morning and wanted a little before he had a big golf match. And she said, well, but see, it's the wrong time of the month. He said, that's all right. Meet me in the parking lot of the church down the street from the Pancake House, where he proceeded to pull her panties down, asked her to remove the tampon, and then he did her from behind, pressed up against his Escalade in the church parking lot. Well, Tiger, you pretty much hit the trifecta there. Well, the only problem is that the Inquirer had gotten a little whiff of this, and they were following him around. So after they left, the Inquirer people came along and picked up, shall we say, the evidence, and then was going to go public with it. And so Tiger's people said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll cut a deal. What do you want? And the Inquirer people, who also own Men's Fitness magazine, said, tell you what, we'll forget about this little incident in the church parking lot if Tiger will give us an exclusive cover story for Men's Fitness magazine. They cut the deal, and that's why you saw that. Mindy says, by the way, Tiger was cheap, and that all he bought for her was a chicken wrap from Subway. Hey, I've had those. Those are good. Don't complain there, Mindy. But now you got this Laura Donna, who said she got a $15,000 shopping spree out of the deal. The story also says, by the way, that Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley led Tiger astray, especially when they were out in Vegas. They also say Tiger Woods' father was a womanizer and a drunk, and that Rachel Yucatel, who I believe was skank number one, got paid $10 million in hush money. Apparently she had some good things to tell. So again, there you go. I saved you $5. You don't have to buy Vanity Fair next week when it comes out here in St. Louis. Jesse James, in the Sandra Bullock story, Jesse James has entered rehab. This is the first thing he's entered that's not been completely covered in tattoos. Insert rim shot here. Now, I told you I had an OJ story. When I got this story, I thought it was a real big deal, but that was before all this Jesse James, Sandra Bullock, Tiger Woods stuff came out. But it turns out OJ is getting massages from the gay inmates in prison. That's pretty much it. It sounded like a great story a week ago when I had it. Not a big deal now. All right, a couple of things to tell you about. August 27th, Piranha 3D will hit movie theaters, and you're going to get 3D, double D boobs in that movie. Look for it August 27th. Matt Damon's going to be a guest on 30 Rock later this year. Tina Fey, by the way, is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live on April 10th, and then that Betty White episode of Saturday Night Live is going to air on May 8th. And that is where almost all the women from previous Saturday Night Live casts are going to come back. You're going to get your Rachel Dratch and your Molly Shannon, and I don't know about Victoria Jackson because she crazy. The Sarah Palin show tonight on the Fox network. LL Cool J and Toby Keith both said, hey, wait a minute, we didn't do any interview with Sarah Palin. What are you saying there's one for? And it turns out Fox News, as they always do, are playing around, taking interviews from a year or 2 years ago and saying, well, Sarah Palin this and Sarah Palin. She's just going to be standing there going to these 2-year-old pieces, so don't bother with that. All right, and I told you that there would be 2 ways to look really dumb if you were interested in them, and both of them I've done, by the way, and so here we go. Somebody has got to decide whether on an elevator G means ground or garage. Because I can't tell you how many, this just happened last week again, where you push G because you figure, well, that's got to be ground, and then of course it takes you to the garage, and you take a couple of steps off, you realize where you are, and then you got to turn around and get back on the elevator. And there's no way to look cool when you have gotten off on the wrong floor off an elevator. The other way to assuredly look uncool is to wear those radio headphone headset things with a little antenna coming out the side. Little known story, there was a television newscaster who back in my single days I was a little interested in, and I was at a football game and was going to go in for the kill, and then I realized I was wearing those things. You see, this is like you see old men at the baseball games wearing these headset radios, or you see old guys with the cut-off jeans, shorts, mowing their lawn with these things on. All right, stay away from those two things and you'll look a lot smarter than maybe even you are. All right, let's talk about April Fool's Day. Again, let's go about 10 years ago, and there was a young lady that I was going out with, and all of her friends were not cool with the idea. And when she said, well, what's the matter with me dating JC? One of the girls said, well, because on April Fool's Day a couple of years ago, I heard when he went up to the top of the arch grounds and went to the top of the arch and was throwing radios and TVs off of the top of the arch, and if you could catch one of these things that you could keep it. There's only one problem with that. That was a bit that Smash did on Casey. Hello, Smash. Just had lunch with him a couple of weeks ago, and Gary Bennett also. So that wasn't even me. And by the way, that was a bit that was stolen from Monty Python from years ago, so what are you going to do? Sports Illustrated, by the way, back in 1985, did a great April Fool's Day piece where they had a rookie pitcher by the name of Sid Finch that they said pitched 168 miles an hour. So just watch yourself today. Today is April Fool's Day. All right, it's supposed to be 86 degrees again today, and I'm suffering from diverticulitis. So you know how I love the tomatoes and the vegetables, and I can't either eat one now because I got diverticulitis for the last month. So thinking about building a garden here again and planting the tomatoes. I can't even eat them, so why bother? All right, tomorrow we'll set you up for the weekend, and we'll have an update on the family, and it's somebody's birthday tomorrow. All that's coming up tomorrow. In the meantime, that's your daily dose for Thursday, April 1st, 2010. We'll talk to you again tomorrow here at jc'sdailydose.com. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.